we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just say, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, this is so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, I'm still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then can I make it do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome back to a Wind Me Up Wednesday, a little different than a Two Me Up Tuesday. Just a day later, as I was at MACTION last night, but Zach and I had you guys covered for a little bit of post-game and pre-game talk on Monday. If you guys missed it, check out our Man Cave Monday. It was awesome. We had Buffalo Brad join us, kind of give us his insight on the Buccaneers, which was pretty refreshing. He was still surprisingly very optimistic about their overall outcome on the season. So not surprisingly, but just good to see, good to hear his refreshness there. And then Zach and I got into autographs, Sharpie usage, paint pens, when you should, when you shouldn't. So go back to our YouTube and all the other outlets for that show, Man Cave Monday. Can't miss it. And today we're here to really get you guys prepped up for a big Sunday night football showdown against the Rams. Zach, this one is one of those games that feels very important for the Bucs, not in sense of a must-win game. It's nowhere close to a must-win, but at the same time, it's a very good kind of yardstick on where this Buccaneers team is at, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back after these two losses. It's not time to hit the panic button just yet. I feel like if we lose to the Cardinals and the Rams, then it might be time to start to circle the wagons a little bit. But this one is, I still want to see us be competitive. Hell, I want to see us win the game. but I don't want to go out to LA and get our the doors blown off. So.
Yeah, Wino Wednesday, our guy Dude's a Monster is saying, and he was the first to comment. We appreciate Dude's a Monster tapping in, checking us out right now. Cleve and me, big week of football, incredibly big week of football, especially next week. 3 Thanksgiving games, a Black Friday game. It's just games, and more games. So good to see. But yeah, I mean, I think this Bucs team will compete. A lot of fans, we're going to get into them here shortly, but already waved the white flag on this week. Kind of sad if you ask me, Jayla. What say you?
No, it's very sad. It's just really hard right now with everything going on, with the tough loss Sunday and then going into LA on national television. Everyone's going to watch around the world. And already they're counting us out to lose the game, which is whatever. That's their opinion. But to me, I agree with Zach. I hope they compete and try to go for the W. Don't get me wrong, the Rams aren't unbeatable, but we'll see what happens, man.
The great Rochelle's joining us on Facebook, amongst others. We always appreciate our Facebook live crowd. But 2 things, right? Everybody views us down and out for the case of Bowles versus McVay. McVay's kind of had his number, and kind of the current state of how this Buccaneers team is playing, Zach. But it's not like we got blown out in either of the past 2 games. I guess the bar just was set really high for this Bucs team. We were up against Buffalo. We were up early against New England, hung in both of those games, Zach, and now here we are, everybody kind of just counting us out. Is it because of the McVay career success versus Todd Bowles, you think? Is it kind of the injuries, or what say you on our fan base kind of prematurely waving the white flag, seemingly?
I think the new Bucs fans have an unrealistic expectation of performance. And I think the old heads have PTSD that kicks in really quickly. And then you have the crowd that just hates Todd Bowles no matter what he does. So I think it's a combination of all those things, man. I don't like going across the country. I think that's always a disadvantage. And I definitely don't like playing on primetime, man. Like, I'm not looking forward to it if we do lose, because everybody up here will be watching the game, and then that's all I'm going to be able to hear on Monday morning at work, man. That's everybody's, they don't get to watch the Bucs that much. It's usually prime time, and we don't have the best track record. So those things are more concerning to me than just the Bowles McVay thing. Because you look, we play the Rams pretty well. I mean, they don't dominate us for the most part. I mean, the scores are pretty close, relatively. And Bowles has a lot of tape on McVay. We should be able to do something if he's a defensive mastermind, right?
And I think you hit the nail on the head greatly right there, Zach. And it's kind of the theme, not only against the Rams, but now against good teams. The Bucs really don't get blown out, it seems like. I mean, yes, the Detroit loss was a little lopsided, but that was probably the most poor officiated game I've seen in quite some time. And, we don't have to get into that again. But it seems like the Bucs are always hanging around. Even the playoff game against the Rams, when we were down to pretty much nobody at wide receiver, the Bucs should have sent that game into overtime, or maybe even won that game. Obviously, miscommunication on defense. One thing leads to another, but it seems like the Bucs are always in the game against the Rams. And Zach, me and you are kind of in different scenarios. As Olivia says, hey, welcome, lady listeners. We love it. Bud Cannibal is saying it's always go Bucs, weather the storm. Another lady, great lady, Trisha, saying good evening, fellas. Good evening to you, Trisha. The chat is popping right now. What's up, fellas? The great B-Shuck is joining us. We love you, B-Shuck. Hope all is well, brother. Dude's a monster. Fair weather fans, always the loudest. And, of course, that's true. And, Zach, me and you have to deal with different scenarios. As you said, you're over there in West Virginia. I'm over here in Chicago. So it seems like when the Bucs lose and we're not in Tampa, not only do the Bucs lose, but then it's my fault to my buddies if they play Bucs fantasy players, or if they gamble on the Bucs and lose. Whatever the outcome might be, Zach, I don't know if you feel that too, but suddenly everything is your fault, from fantasy to losing money to the Bucs losing and beyond.
Yeah, anybody ever asked me what the spread is on a Bucs game, or do I think this prop bet's going to hit? I tell them all the same thing, man. Never bet on the Bucs because they'll break your heart. It doesn't matter. Like when I was in college and I played parlay a little bit, there were a time where I'd have like a 10-teamer or a 12-teamer, and then the Bucs would be the only one that got me every time, whether I bet on them to win or to lose. They would always come around and get me. So I don't gamble anymore.
Smart.
Because I have other vices, but you never bet on the Bucs, man. It just never goes the way you think it's going to go.
Don't go breaking my heart. That's a good theme song. Bet on the Bucs, J-Lo. But what say you? Kind of Bulls, McVay, does that worry you more, or do kind of just the surrounding circumstances that underlie this matchup concern you more? Because McVay is one of the bright young minds in the game. Obviously, he's offense, Bulls defense, so it's usually a pretty good battle of these two coaches in years past.
No, I couldn't agree more. Sean McVay has always been a thorn in Bulls' defense when we go up against them, but he's not unbeatable. Bulls is pretty good at, going through the game studies, get prepared for the game day and all that stuff. He had a rough game last one, but I'm pretty confident we'll be competitive. I think that's not the issue. To me, it's more of the defensive scheme, injuries. I mean, that's just the problem. We're dealing with a lot of injuries and we're missing a lot of players. And plus, we can't even score in the red zone. That's another thing, too, to look at. I mean, those are things you got to look at that come with it. If you get a turnover, you got to capitalize and make them pay. You got to run the scoreboard. Field goals are not going to win you football games all the time.
Especially when you get a turnover on Josh Allen, right, J-Lo? I mean, to your point, that great of a quarterback, he's going to go down the field time and time again. When you do get the ball at the 5-yard line, you better punch that puppy in.
Absolutely. I mean, the Bucs are going to have to blitz and bring the house when it comes to playing defense against Sean McVay. Because if you get Stafford all day, he's going to pick you apart, just like Josh Allen did last week. So that, to me, I feel it's more of a injury problem going on right now because the players are out of position and we're not getting pressure. So that's one thing I will say when it comes to playing the Rams, that, yes, it's going to be a very interesting matchup, seeing how the defense comes out and plays. And hopefully they come and playing pissed off. It was a game we should have won. Now you can go in and prove all the doubters wrong, that we can compete with any team bearing injuries. That's my motto when it comes to the Bucs, when it comes to playing their so-called good opponents.
We go toe and toe with the best of them, right? We went up, and I mean, our losses this year, Pops texted into Zach and I's show on Monday pointing out, I think it was like 34-9 or 34-6 or something insane that the teams the Bucs have lost to have combined record-wise: Detroit, Philadelphia, Buffalo, New England. So, when we lose, we do lose to the best of him. It's not like we ended up stubbing our toe against Atlanta or the Saints or the Jets. We take care of the teams we're supposed to beat. And then against playoff teams or playoff caliber teams, the Buccaneers are 3 wins and 4 losses. So it's not like we're out of it, right? We did beat Houston on prime time. We did beat Seattle in their house, and we did beat San Fran when they were on a good little hot streak with Mac Jones. So it's not like the Bucs have had terrible game after terrible game against some of the top talents. Just one of those things where we'll wait and see what Todd Bowles has up his sleeve. I would keep doing exotic blitzes, safety blitzes, scheming type blitzes, where it seemed like it really worked last week on Josh Allen when we bring a defensive back. And then kind of when we did our basic pressures, rush 4 or 5, it seemed like Allen kind of had his way with us. So especially with maybe a banged up Jamel Dean and still Hassan Reddick maybe not ready to return, you got to get really creative with Parrish, Winfield, those type of players, Tyke Smith, the ones who have proven capable of still being able to blitz, even though being defensive backs. We'll get into more of that, but I think Bowles has something cooking. I know McVay has cooked them in years past, but I think Bowles sees the magnitude of importance against this game. And my rant real quick to Bucs fans, shame on you. Shame on you, because Todd Bowles, 3 years in a row now, I know this is year 4 of him, but the first 3 years, not including this year yet, the Bucs kind of hit that midseason rut under Coach Todd Bowles. Remember, Brady's last year when Bowles was coaching, the Bucs started off 2 or 3-0, and then they kind of hit a rut. Then they won 3 in a row to end the year before they kind of rolled over against Atlanta, didn't play their starters. But again, start the year hot, end the year hot. Year 1 under Todd Bowles. Year 2 under Todd Bowles, same exact thing happens. The Bucs win a couple of games. Baker Mayfield starts going on College game day. Bucs are living large. They hit a rut in the middle of the season, end the year hot as hell with wins against Green Bay and Jacksonville. End up making the playoffs, winning a playoff game even. Very good stuff there. Last year, same exact thing happens. The Bucs start off hot, lose in the middle, end off hot, and now suddenly you're seeing it yet again this season. The Bucs start off good. Now they're in a mini rut against really good teams, let me remind you. Let's see how they end the year. I'm tired of fans giving up on this team. And the one that pisses me off the most is that we should have promoted and kept Liam Cohen. How the hell do people know that keeping and promoting Liam Cohen, who is blowing some bad losses in Jacksonville, let's not act like him blowing some bad leads already on the Jaguars goes unnoticed. So Liam Cohen isn't like this perfect guru by any means thus far. And I don't want to hear, oh, he doesn't have the talent. He's done some very questionable moves so far as well, overpaying for a guy like Travis Hunter. So the last thing I want to hear some of these Bucs fans whisper is we should have kept Liam Cohen, blah, blah, blah. What the hell are you saying? What the hell are you looking at, Zach? Do you feel that way too, as Matt Kratz is saying, great show as always, appreciate all the different perspectives being brought tonight. Bud Cannibal is saying, blitz the hell out of him. Devontae and Puka could burn us. But, Zach, am I missing something where it's like Liam Cohen suddenly is like a mastermind already in the NFL and we should have kept him over Todd Bowles? That one pisses me off a lot.
Yeah, I get it, right? I get it. Everybody wants the new toy. Everybody wants an offensive-minded coach. But I think what they're forgetting is, as you pointed out, they started off hot, had a rut, finished strong, right? So what does that say to you? That says that Todd never lost this team. These guys are willing to compete for him, willing to go to battle for him. So if you did something like fire Todd and brought in Liam last year so you didn't lose Liam, that's not going to go over real well with the players. Todd is a very player-friendly coach. The players love Todd, right, wrong, or indifferent how you feel about it. They love him. And let's not pretend for a second that Liam Cohen didn't show us exactly who he was in that situation with Jacksonville. A good person doesn't lie about their kids being sick in the hospital while they're on the down low in Jacksonville working out the details of their contract after he already gave you a list of demands to stay and had a gentleman's agreement to do so. So what do you think is going to happen when the shit starts to hit the fan with a guy of that character? He's going to start throwing people under the buses. He's going to start deflecting. He's going to start, it's not me, it's them mentality. So, yeah, while Jacksonville might look like a good situation right now, just wait till, the road gets rocky and let's see how Liam Cohen holds up then.
And to build off your point, is he even better than Bowles right now? Jacksonville was at home against Seattle this year, lost by 8. Bucs go on the road against Seattle this year. They win. Jaguars lose against the Texans with Davis Mills at quarterback. Bucs beat the Texans with C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Did you guys slander Liam Cohen when he lost 35-7 against Sean McVay, like you guys are already predicting the Bucs do? So I'm just saying, it's crazy already that people write this in. Zach, I do agree, shiny new toy syndrome is really a real thing, especially with the offensive guys. But J-Lo, I mean, come on. This Jaguars team lost to Davis Mills, lost a couple other games. And, the Chargers win was impressive. But outside of that, this Jaguars team really hasn't shown all that much this year, J-Lo.
Not at all. They're not very scary. As far as the Todd Bowles tape, when it comes to Liam Cohen, Zach nailed it on the head. It's not going to sit well with the players if you were to fire a guy like Bowles, because the players will go to battle for Bowles. They've done the last 2 years when we were under 500 and we went on a win streak. So I just think the fans need to relax. Relax. We still got a lot of football left. Let's see how the season plays out. Like we talked about the last 2 years, Tones, let's see how the season finishes the last couple of years and look what's happened. We make the playoffs, we make a run, the best we can, and we're going to get players back. Maybe not right away. Fans got to be patient. We got to go with what we got and keep it going as far as that goes. Liam Cohen, he's a douchebag for the most part. I don't wish harm on him, but what he did, I still don't forget. That's just something you just don't do using your family as an excuse. That's not cool. That's just a dog shit lie, if you ask me. But like I said, fans just need to calm down, chill out, man. Like, it's not like we're getting blown out every game, like you mentioned. The only game that really was lopsided was the Lions game. But every other game we've been in it with what we have. I mean, Christ. I mean, we've been through so many rotations on the offensive line, and we're still over 500, and that's what fans need to realize. That's, to me, is a big change for the last couple of years that we remained over 500. And after this tough game coming up, the schedule looks a lot lighter to where we should win most of those games. But we'll see.
We will see, and I have faith in Todd Bowles, Josh Grizzard, Larry Foote, and the rest of the crew. I don't know about Thomas McGahee anymore, but with that special teams performance against Buffalo is brutal. If that coverage does not change on Sunday, he has to be gone. And I know I've had his back during the good this year. I've called him out during the bad, but that was by far, verbatim, bar none, the consistently worst special teams kick return coverage I ever seen, Zach. It's like, okay, one kick return, no big deal. Two good kick returns, it's like we got to change something. I think they had like 7 kick returns that were like at least 30, 40, 50-yard returns. That just pretty much puts your defense in a spot where even if they are playing at the top of their game, Buffalo's going to be getting field goal chances at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. The special teams roller coaster all season has been exhausting. I mean, we started off the first couple of games with McLaughlin being out of sync and missing some kicks, and then it seemed like, oh, he got that fixed, and then, oh, well, here come all the blocks. Let's get a block field goal, block punts. We kind of get that shored up, which I'm kind of indifferent on because I notice Wirfs is out there, and man, I don't know how I feel about Tristan playing special teams, but they're doing what they have to do, I think. And then we've got this syndrome with not being able to tackle on kickoffs, or based on what Todd said, they can't kick it into the end zone. I don't understand that. And then if McLaughlin can't get it there, put Dixon in to get it there. But we cannot continually give, especially the Rams, field position on our side of the 50. Like that's a recipe for a loss. You can't give McVay that kind of field position.
That's going to be tough if you do give McVay that. I mean, look at how tough it was against Buffalo. Now you give a guy like McVay, and the NFL rules enough. They already made it hard enough to stop him, right? Zach and I and Jayla, we all pointed out. It's like, all right, you do a touchback these days, 35, 40-yard line, depending on how you kick it. These teams are hop, skip, and a jump away from field goal position as it is. So you give him the ball at the 50, you're talking about a 5-yard pass pretty much puts him in field goal range. And it shouldn't come down to Chase McLaughlin trying to make a tackle every single time. That's a big problem, too. We're like one bad Chase McLaughlin jump away from him maybe being injured because he is trying to make some tackles. And he has made 1 or 2 this year, so I'll give him credit on that. But we've called up multiple guys from the practice squad. Whatever we're doing, whoever we're calling up, it's just not working. And we mentioned it. Keith's absence is big. Let's not forget Pat O'Connor. I know he's been gone a couple of years now, but he was always a very big special teams member for this Buccaneers team. So we're waiting for someone to step up. Who's that going to be? We're not sure, but I'm not a fan of seeing Tristan Wirfs out there either on special teams. If he gets injured, that's really screwed. And we're going to talk about injuries a little bit here now. J-Lo, leading off with you. Bucky, Irving, and Chris Godwin are quote-unquote ramping up. According to head coach Todd Bowles, there was video out there of Bucky Irving doing more work today. J-Lo, thoughts on if either one of these guys plays this week in your opinion?
To me, I think one of them will. To me, I think we'll get one of them, either Bucky or Chris, which I'll take either one. But at the same time, we still got a couple more days of practice before we really know. And it could be both, but I say one of them comes back. And if I'm a betting man, I say Bucky Irving.
Zach, it doesn't sound great for our guy. Don't make a scene. It's just Dean. Todd Bowles said today on Jamel Dean, if he doesn't make progress soon, he likely won't play against the Rams on Sunday. To me, that doesn't sound promising, but at the same time this year, we've seen him say the same thing about a guy like Igbuka against Detroit, and the next thing you know, Igbuka was out there playing. So what's your thoughts on Jamel Dean's availability for Sunday?
man, I don't know. It's so hard with the cryptic game that Todd's playing with injuries this year. I would say if we see him, doing some practice by the end of the week, he's probably going to play. But if he doesn't, I really feel like I'd like to see him kick Parrish outside and put Izzy in the slot. It's an important game, and I know Morrison is the future at corner, but he's a little bit of a liability right now. So I'd rather have the best group out there. But with Dean's injury history, they'll probably, I said this last time I said this, the exact opposite happened, but I would think that they're going to keep him out.
I would think so too, but you never know given the Bucs this year. But I would lean towards the side right now, 70% chance he's likely out on Sunday, I would say. But again, Luke Godwin and McVay Career were kind of surprise active before. So you never know. J-Lo, we're going to send you to the Rams side of the ball today. They did announce that Rob Havenstein, their right tackle, Tyler Higbee, their starting tight end, and Quentin Lake, their starting safety, did get placed on IR. J-Lo, thoughts on those three injuries for the Rams heading into Sunday Night Football against the Bucs?
Well, I will say the right tackle and the tight end, that's huge because Higbee is a very underrated tight end when healthy. I know he's a pretty popular target besides Puka Nacua and Adams. And then the right tackle, that could be huge when it comes to our pass rush. Hopefully whoever steps in there, goes after the right side when it comes to blitzing, because then you get more pressure on Stafford. And Stafford's not going to be able to run away like Allen will. That's the key, So that, to me, the right tackle is the big one, to where now you can create a scheme to blitz on the right side and get after Stafford. And damn well he's not going to attempt to run unless he has to. You know what I mean? I feel if you get pressure on him, right side, so the right tackle is probably the biggest one out of the three.
Zach, we're going to send it back to you to round up our injury recap here. Chris Braswell Jr. was added to the injury report today, seen with the cast on, and not that he's played the best of all this year, Zach, but a couple of things. Thought last game he at least played okay, which for his standards is pretty good. And B, just given the nature of Reddick missing, Kancey missing, Watts being banged up, anybody on the edge being banged up right now just isn't a great thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to make that much of an impact. I think he only played 19 snaps on defense, so it wasn't like he got a lot of playing time. I mean, it really says a lot about Braswell that he can't get more playing time from Nelly at this point. Maybe let's see what Kamara can do. I know that, he was supposed to be, fairly decent coming out of college, and then I think he kind of got washed out in Miami a little bit, but can he be much worse than Braswell? I don't know.
That's a good point, though, too. But let's remember, and I love Anthony Nelson. He had a great game. But remember, everybody was like, see, this is what we've been waiting on in Nelson. Then he's kind of gone radio silent the past couple of weeks. So, I mean, I don't know. Somebody has to step up, whether it's Nelson or Reddick returns or Braswell suddenly gets healthy or Diaby. Somebody has to take over. Somebody please step up, because the minute an edge steps up, it helps out Vita Vea be able to rush the passer too. Right now, he's virtually invisible rushing the passer because they double team him every time, because the Bucs get one-on-one everywhere, and that's okay for the offensive line because the Bucs don't have a edge rusher right now who's making a presence felt. So somebody has to step up like Nelson did against the Saints this Sunday to kind of put the pressure off of Vita and maybe get Vita free and loose for a sack. Bud Cannibalist says Ferguson, their backup tight end, is pretty good. Yeah, he is. But Higbee being out it's like the Bills tight ends last week, right? They still got a pretty good backup, but when that starter's out, it does affect the game plan a little bit. Speaking of affect the game plan, the Buccateers are never affected game plan wise. We are live on a Wind Me Up Wednesday. We will be back tonight as well with J-Lo's campus kickoff. Be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, Joey Nips will be with you with Toe in the Line, and then Saturday Showdown returns 10:30 a.m. Eastern this Saturday. That will be a lot of fun. Then a deep dive into the 813 favorite holiday special with ACAT and myself Monday, and then To Me Up Tuesday. We're just living large here on the Buccateers. Please hit that like button, subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. If you are watching on YouTube, you'll never miss an episode. And we do appreciate memberships and super chats right now. Today, they do help grow the show. They're never expected, always appreciated here on the Buccateers. So we thank you all for that. And we do want to announce we'll be doing some holiday fun giveaways coming up, T-shirts, cards. We've done a lot of giveaways so far this year. Zach's done some with Duvin. I did the one with UNLV. We gave away other Bucs stuff to begin the year. So be on the lookout between Thanksgiving and New Year's. We're going to be doing some fun holiday giveaways here on the Buccateers. Speaking of fun, Zach, the NFC South is suddenly fun. The Panthers only, right behind the Bucs right there, a game back. Saints and Atlanta kind of free falling. Saints are playing a little bit better, though. But, Zach, what are your thoughts on the NFC South? How many wins will it take to win the NFC South, in your opinion, for the Bucs or whoever might win it?
Man, that's a good one. 11 or 12, I think, is what's going to take for us to win. But, it's also going to take Carolina to take a little bit of a step back. And we those games with Carolina at the end of the year, before the season started, looked like two, who cares? We're playing the Panthers both at the end of the season, almost back to back. It's not going to be a big deal, but now it's kind of shaping up to be a big deal. So you can't lose focus, especially if you drop this game to the Rams. You almost have to run the table after that. The only exception would be you might be able to split with Carolina depending on what the rest of their record is. But they beat the Falcons and lost to the Saints, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we definitely can't screw around and lose to the Falcons or the Saints, and then we have to split with the Panthers, and then we can finish up with 11, 12 wins. I think we got it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jayla, what say you?
Well, I say honestly, maybe 10 wins, because you got to remember, Carolina's got a tough schedule. They got to play the Rams, got to play the 49ers coming up.
Yeah, J-Lo, to your point, their schedule, I have it pulled up. Monday Night Football this week in San Fran. The following week, on short week's rest, they're home against the Rams. But remember, that's only 6 days rest. Then they're at New Orleans, which they lost home against New Orleans. So then they're at New Orleans. And then they're home against the Bucs, home against Seattle, and at the Bucs. So, J-Lo, there's no guaranteed win. Not that there ever are in the NFL, but their easiest game is probably at the Saints, and the Saints already upended Carolina in Carolina.
Exactly. Well, spot on, Tones. You never know. It's any given Sunday, honestly, at this point. But at the same time, to me, after this Rams game, the Bucs got a pretty good landslide before they played the Panthers. I mean, realistically, let's be realistic here. They should be able to pull out those 3 straight home games. Maybe not easily, but those are very winnable games. And depending where Carolina's at, it could be a division clinching time when we go to Carolina. Not to get too ahead of myself, depending on the record. As far as Atlanta, they're done. They lost their quarterback for the year. Kirk Cousins will be stepping right back in there, earning his money, I guess. And then the Saints are slowly improving, but obviously not going to go anywhere in the playoffs or even the division at best. So, to me, I feel the Bucs can possibly clinch either at Carolina or at Miami. That's my prediction as far as division goes, because I really feel Carolina's a not consistent team. They win big games, but then they lose one that they should win. So, to me, that means to me that the Bucs got a good chance. 10 should do it to get them the division.
Yeah, and Carolina still has their bye week left too, remember? So the Bucs have one more game remaining on the schedule than Carolina. I think Carolina goes 1-2 leading up to their game against the Bucs December 21st. They're at San Fran, home against the Rams, at New Orleans. I think they win one of those and lose 2 of those. Which one they win, not sure, but I think they'll pull one of those out. So it's very important for the Bucs in these next 4 weeks. At worst case scenario, and again, this is absolute worst case scenario, you got to go 2-2. You really have to go 3-1, but you got to go 2-2 at worst. Because say if Carolina goes 1-2, you go 2-2. That's nice. You gain a half game on them at least in the worst case scenario. The next thing you know, you grow that lead even a little more against Carolina. So worst case, you got to go 2-2, but if you go 3-1, you're sitting really pretty. If Carolina does go 1-2, then you grow another game and a half on them and kind of take that next leap. So this week is going to be really big. We need San Fran to help us out on Monday Night Football this week. I do think Carolina's, remember what we said from the beginning, the NFC South is consistently inconsistent. I think that Carolina gets blown out. That's my prediction Monday night. I think this San Fran wins by 10+, but that's just me. I've got to believe that we beat the Rams. I do too. I think we do as well. And remember, a lot of us here on the Buccateers did have the Panthers coming in second this year. A lot of the people were high and mighty on the Falcons. I know I predicted Panthers in second, so did some others, but kudos to Dave Canales on turning that program around rather quickly, but I'm not going to be fooled. San Fran by double digits this weekend wouldn't surprise me. What might surprise some, Kalijah Kancey returning this year. It would kind of be like a Ryan Jensen, Vita Vea type return when they've returned in years past when it was unexpected. Zach, do you think Kalijah Kancey returns this year? Have we seen the last of him in your opinion?
I think he comes back for the playoffs. I think we'll see him back for the playoffs with fresh legs. We get Mike and McMillan and Godwin back all at the end of the season with fresh legs. I mean, crazier things have happened, but that's a great cornucopia of talent that's all going to be redistributed back into this team in a very short amount of time, and it would be hugely impactful. Those dudes, when they're out like that and they miss some time and they get to come back, man, they play like their hair's on fire. Remember the COVID year when Devin White missed the first game of the playoffs, and then he came back and he was just like a man possessed. It's that kind of syndrome. So if it does happen, I feel like it'll be impactful for the defense to have Kancey back.
It really would be huge to have Kancey back. And again, he would free up the space in the middle for a guy like Vita. He would help the edge rushers out too. Jayla, what say you? Any chance our guy Kalijah Kancey, we love him here on the program, returns this year for the Bucs?
I say divisional round. I think divisional round, if we advance past the wild card, I could see him come back in the divisional round to where we play a really tough opponent, whether we're the 3 or 4 seed. And like y'all mentioned, him being back would be huge as far as the pass rush goes, helping Vita Vea out to get pressure. That's what we've been missing on defense, is just getting the pass rush, and having Kancey back would definitely, help, fire stuff up into where we get pressure on the quarterback. So I do believe he's a tough guy, and he'll be back, I think, divisional round. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens, but I do think Kancey does ultimately make a return. We saw a couple signs maybe of that happening, him in the locker room, him getting around fine, but it'll be interesting. We know one thing, Kalijah Kancey's a tough son of a gun, so if he will be out there, he will be out there, and we love our guy. We wish him well. If you missed it, Bucs did bring Marcus Banks back to their practice squad as well. He started the year on the practice squad. Former Bucs kicker Matt Gay signing with the 49ers practice squad. So a little bit of Buccaneers news there. And MACTION football resumes tonight for those college football lovers. Kickoff is about to begin right now. Central Michigan at Kent State, 7 o'clock Eastern. Miami of Ohio at Buffalo, 7 o'clock Eastern. So some live football action for people looking for some tonight. And remember, we are going to do holiday promotions upcoming. Be on the lookout on our Twitter page, Instagram page, so much more at the Buccateers. Help us grow the show by participating in these giveaways. You won't regret it. You could win some really cool, not only Buccateers stuff, Buck stuff, and other team stuff potentially as well. So Zach, J-Lo, myself, the rest of the Buccateers gang will be doing a lot of holiday fun here on the program. Before we wrap things up, close up shop here on a Wind Me Up Wednesday, Zach, I'm going to turn the floor to you. Any final words, any things to bring up here for the Buccateers pod before Rams Bucs, 8:15 Eastern Sunday night on NBC and Peacock with the great Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the call?
Yeah, this game's going to come down to the trenches. We have to be able to convert on short yardage Our short yardage game has been shit all season. Goal line, third and 1. I'd rather it be 3rd and 8 than 3rd and 1, honestly, this season. I feel like we can't convert the short yardage plays. And then on the other side of the ball, we have to generate pressure with the front four. Stafford is almost perfect against the blitz this season. I don't think he's thrown an interception against the blitz. So I don't know that that's going to be the answer to moving him off a spot. We have to get pressure with the front four. Otherwise, I think it's not going to be a good day for us. So the trenches are going to be the key factor in this game this week.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And that's why I think we do got to bring, yet again, more exotic blitz packages to the table. And one thing a little different with Stafford than the past couple of weeks, Drake May and Josh Allen do have the mobility that Stafford doesn't. So, Zach, to your point, if you pressure him well and you do get to him a little bit, he's obviously a future Hall of Famer, pros, so he knows what he's doing with the ball. But it does help your chances to create havoc or perhaps potential turnovers even if you get pressure with the non-mobile quarterback. J-Lo, what say you? Speaking of mobile, Baker was a little more mobile last week, which is good to see too, the return of his legs. But J-Lo, any final words or things we may not have gotten to today here in the Buccateers?
Well, I will say that Baker, it's good to see him scrambling, running around, getting those yardages. That makes a huge difference in the offense, to stay on the field and not be 3 and out. That's great to see. Hopefully he'll keep it up. Hopefully the way he landed on his neck when he scored didn't affect him. Hopefully, because that didn't look too good. But he seems to be doing fine for the most part. And congratulations on that baby boy on the way to Baker and his wife Emily. Just amazing stuff to hear. Tune in to campus kickoff, everybody. Breaking down all the fun games coming up. And, of course, the coaching carousel going around. I went into detail a little bit of that as well in the campus kickoff, so tune into that. And have faith, Bucs fans. Don't just go in with a Debbie Downer on this game coming up. It could be a game where Bucs could surprise all of us and pull this win out.
Couldn't agree more. Wouldn't surprise me, though. I think the Bucs are going to at least hang in there. I do like their odds of stealing this one on the road, and superstitious. That's why I'm glad the Rams kind of pulled out a tough one against Seattle this week. Not that they'll let up on the gas pedal by any means, but football gods usually work in ways where you win a close one. Sometimes it evens out, and then you lose a close one. So the Bucs have lost a couple of close ones now. It's maybe their turn to win a couple of close ones now, and that's how I think Sunday Night Football shakes out. Fun slate for Bucs fans, though, because Sunday night you got the Bucs, Monday night you got Carolina. 2 very meaningful primetime games for the Buccaneers this week, fellas. It's going to be awesome. This was a Wind Me Up Wednesday, which was a lot of fun. Zach, quick thoughts for the program. Final word, brother, as we walk off here.
Always a good time hanging out and chopping it up with you fellas. Let's say our prayers and eat our vitamins and hope the Bucs pull out a win on Sunday.
That would be fantastic, and we would be doing this all the way around the globe. J-Lo, final words say you, brother. Thanks again. It was a lot of fun, Zach, you and myself chopping it up here tonight.
Oh, yeah, as usual, man. Always good chopping up with y'all guys. Keeping it together, doing the stressful, group chats. It's always been fun. And like I said, just, stay humble, stay positive, and let's go get that W, man. Let's shock the world on national TV. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Fire the damn cannons. Touchdown Tampa Bay. I have a good feeling for Sunday Night Football, where a lot of fans are giving up. If you're giving up, disappointed, but par for the course for Bucs fans. The past 4 years, including this year, we've been dealing with people giving up. So just one of those things where we're not giving up here in the Buccateers. We'll continue fighting. Happy belated birthday, Coach Bowles, as well. Be sure to wish him one if you haven't already. On episode 359 plus of the Buccateers here. Fire the damn cannon, Zach, J-Lo, Tampa Tones. We'll be back tonight with the campus kickoff featuring yours truly, J-Lo. Until tomorrow, then, until in the line, we'll see you next time. See you guys. Have a great night.
Take care.
We'll put it like that. What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
That
you know,
awesome.
it was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly,
Yeah.
from there,
Yeah.
you know, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? You know, seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, you know, dude. I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But you know, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, hey, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Yeah, catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it's just, it was fun to watch. And yeah, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
And honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. You know, growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, you know, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, you know, once he took over Rich McCann, I'm still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go.